Well, the count is now at 4. That's the number of judges who we can confirm are being vetted for a possible Supreme Court nomination. The latest names, Judges Sri Srinivasan and Merrick Garland. They're joining Judges Jane Kelly and Ketanji Brown Jackson as possible nominees. The FBI is interviewing their friends and colleagues, we've learned. And attorney Page Pate joins me here in Atlanta to talk about all of these possible nominees. At this point, it's all kind of a guessing game. We know who the FBI is vetting, but we can make calculated guesses. Who would you consider to be the front runner here?
I think Judge Srinivasan has to be considered the front runner. I mean, he has been unanimously confirmed recently by the Senate. He's got a lot of judicial experience, having been now on the D.C. Court of Appeals for several years. I think he is universally respected as far as a judge and a legal scholar. He worked in the Obama administration as Deputy Solicitor General, so he has a lot of experience.
And the Bush administration.
Exactly. So he has a lot of experience on both sides of the aisle. In fact, I think he actually clerked for Republican-appointed judges. So he's the type of moderate consensus nominee you would expect when you have a divided Senate.
And what about Merrick Garland? Because he is a chief judge on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. He's been in the running in the past and been a front runner, we've learned. And obviously has a very impressive resume. He's considered to be a consensus candidate here. But court watchers say his age and the bottom line, the fact that he's a white male, might work against him. Why is that?
I think the president is searching for diversity here on the court. We've seen that in his earlier selection, so I would anticipate he tries to do that again. And while 63 certainly doesn't seem old to me, if you think about a Supreme Court justice trying to serve 20, 30 years on the court, the president will probably pick someone a little younger.
But then on the other side, there are some who argue it may be more palatable to Republicans in the Senate to have someone who's a little bit older. That is, you know, put forth by President Obama. But then again, you get to the hearing part, and Republicans are saying they're not even going to hold a hearing, which could be tricky for Chuck Grassley, who is the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, if Jane Kelly, who was on the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals in Iowa, is appointed by the president, right?
Judge Kelly has been someone Senator Grassley has supported enthusiastically for a long time, so it's going to be very difficult, I think, for him to say, look, this is a qualified judge. We know this is a qualified judge. I've said this is a qualified judge, but I'm still not going to consider her just because of political reasons. So that will really force his hand, and we'll have to see what he would do.
And then, of course, Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's a U.S. District Court judge and, in fact, is related by marriage to Speaker of the House Paul Ryan. Also has an impressive resume, as we see right here. But some court watchers say she may lack the experience. What's your take on that? Because I think people think of the recent judges are from the, you know, Court of Appeals, not the District Court. It's
been traditional, at least recently, to pick someone from the Court of Appeals. That's the next level below the United States Supreme Court. And if you go another level below, you get to the District Court. I like this pick, and I like it for a couple of different reasons. If the president says, I want Judge Jackson, then he would be going outside of the mainstream, picking someone who does have judicial experience from the trial level. The president has said that that person's experience, life experience, is important, and this is a judge that deals with people, which is a little bit different than a Circuit Court of Appeals judge. She has clerked for Justice Breyer. She's been on the United States Sentencing Commission, so she has a lot of experience in criminal law. And if the president is convinced that no nominee is going to get an up or down vote, this may be a good pick politically, because then he has a diverse candidate, which may motivate Democrats to come out and vote in the November election.
Right, because there's a lot of talk of just energizing the base. All right, thank you so much, Page Pate. Really interesting to hear your insights. We're going to see what happens. Word is it's going to happen within the next week or two. So keeping our eyes on it. Thanks so much. And still ahead, how